Hello everybody, my name is Dan Stewart. I serve as a product integration manager with STANLEY Security Solutions with Product Division. Appreciate everybody taking some time to come and listen to our presentation about the STANLEY Wireless product offering and the integration to the C.CURE 9000 platform. We're pretty excited about the partnership that we've established over the past year with Software House and Tyco Security products. So really excited about what this opportunity means for all of you in the marketplace and how this solution can benefit the end users that we get to work with. In the way of an agenda as to what we're going to be covering today, we're going to give a brief company overview of Stanley Black & Decker, and the position that we hold in the security market. We'll talk about the Wi-Q product line, how it is structured and fits into the C.CURE 9000 software. We'll actually show you the 9000 software and the product in it and some of the key features around it and how to manipulate those in the software. Use cases as to where it fits into a customer's environment, estimated costs, and then how it compares to other products that work with the other wireless products that are in the marketplace today. So I apologize if I speak too quickly. The webinar chat window there will allow you to send in questions, or if I'm going too fast, tell me to slow down. Again, I am pretty excited about this integration and what it means for our end users. So feel free to submit any questions during our process, and we'll be covering those at the end. In the room for Software House is Cheryl Shea, who runs the Connected program. So she'll be here to answer any questions that I might not be able to about the integration opportunities for the C.CURE 9000 platform. Back in 2010, Stanley, at the time called the Stanley Works, and Black & Decker decided to merge to form a large conglomerate for the marketplace space, specifically around the tools and construction do-it-yourself market, which is the bulk of our revenue on a yearly basis. Stanley had a smaller division that was continuing to grow for them, which now represents of the Stanley Black & Decker portfolio just over 25% of its yearly revenue. That group is broken down very much like Tyco Security Products is a piece of the Tyco entity. Stanley has a products group which was based on a brand name of Best Access Systems, and has, through mergers and acquisitions, has expanded that portfolio to include many different offerings for the access control market. The product that we're talking about today and the partnership that we have is between the Stanley Products Group and the Tyco Security Products Group. So looking at the solutions that we can bring to the entire Tyco Security Products channel and supporting all of you through that process is what we're here to talk about today, specifically the wireless product and the integration to the C.CURE 9000 platform. From a general high-level 10,000-foot view of the Stanley Wireless product, it's a very simple solution to implement for our end users. So the Software House C.CURE 9000 software will be standard out there running just as you're familiar with it today, with a little bit of add-on software that will communicate through the customer's network to a device that we call a portal gateway. This is the device that translates the software language into a wireless protocol to communicate out to our lock sets and our devices that sit on the door. We also have a component called a wireless access controller, which allows you to get into unique situations for customers and address their unique concerns when it comes to access control. The illustration that I like to give about a wireless access controller would be a parking gate. A customer has parking gates installed in their facility that are just used to control the flow of traffic. They decide that they want to restrict access into certain areas, and now you want to put a card reader out there. Well, if I doing a typical hardwired system, I have to trench out to that gate in order to put card readers onto it and power supplies and so forth in order to add that access control. Wireless access controller allows you to put the control into the gate operator, put a card reader out there, and now without trenching, you have access control on that parking gate. So reduces the infrastructure costs in order to implement that feature for our customer. And those are the only components that go into making up the solution that we're going to talk today. So our lock sets talk directly to the portal gateway. That portal gateway talks directly to the C.CURE 9000 software, and those are the only components that you're going to need to install in order to implement this for the end user. So dramatically reduces the amount of infrastructure needed so that we can help keep the costs in line for customer expectations. The integration to the C.CURE 9000 platform allows for a single common interface to control the entire system. We wanted to make this integration as seamless as possible and also make it flow in the way that technicians and end users are used to using the C.CURE 9000 application. So we went through an extensive training process in order to get certified in the application so that we could understand how it was structured, so that when we developed and put the requirements around our integration, it would flow in a way that those that are familiar with the application would be able to easily adapt to it. The devices that go into making the system, the portal gateway, a couple of key things about it. It is the wireless communication protocol that we use is 802.15.4. That may sound familiar to some and may be more commonly known to you as a Zigbee platform. This is a low power consumption wireless protocol which communicates in the 2.4 gigahertz spectrum, allowing for low power consumption so that we can make the best use of the batteries that are in our lock sets in order to maximize their battery life while improving the number of times that we're able to communicate during a day. The other thing that it allows us to do is Wi-Fi networks, various other devices communicate in 2.4 gigahertz as well. So this allows us to select smaller channels inside of that protocol or inside of that airspace in order to ensure reliable communication between our devices, between the portal gateway, the lock sets. So it's a key feature for the product, allowing and ensuring that consistent, reliable communication between devices. Portal gateway is capable of supporting up to 64 readers to communicate to it. So that is dependent upon the range that you're going to get out of a portal gateway to the lock set. Range, just like any other wireless product on the market, whether it be access control or even computer networks, is dictated by building construction. So there are survey kits available in order to be able to determine how far and where to position portal gateways in order to maximize their efficiency and to get that density that a customer would need in order to control the maximum amount of doors for the minimized amount of cost. We're also able to prioritize our radio traffic around events and timing around those events and so forth in order to make sure that the airspace is clean as possible in order to, again, ensure that reliable communication between devices. The lock sets themselves are intelligent, which means that all decisions are made at the point of control. So Dan Stewart is allowed to get in a door Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. That decision is made at the point of access. In a hardwired system, making the decision at the panel is absolutely a fine way of doing it, very similar to the way the iStars do it, because you have that hardwired connection and I can get that communication instantly between. Wireless devices have an inherent time whenever they are not communicating to the portal gateway. So that means that if the computer's off, if the portal gateway's down, if power is out in the building, I still maintain my access at the point of control, meaning that If that door is supposed to lock at 5 p.m., it locks at 5 p.m. If Dan's supposed to be able to get in at 3 p.m., he can get through the door at 3 p.m. It gives that customer the confidence that they are secure at their point of control. The units have a 24,000 event audit trail capable of being stored in them. As events happen and the communication is flowing, those events are sent up virtually real time into the system and being able to be monitored at the time that the events happen. If power's out, portal gateway's off, whatever it may be, that 24,000 event audit trail is stored inside the lock set, and as soon as it's back online with the software, that information is transferred over into the application with the date and time that those events happen. So keeps that event so that customers can be sure that they can run accurate audits on their information. The wireless information is secured with AES 128-bit encryption so that that information can be secured when it's being passed back and forth through the air, and customers can have the confidence that nobody's sitting there just listening to the activity that's being passed back and forth. We do support up to 18,000 credentials in each of the locks, and as we get down into use cases and discuss it, my personal opinion, if you have a door with 18,000 people having access to it, you really need to put an iStar on that door, simply because 18,000 people going through a door in a day will definitely have a wear and tear on your batteries that will not lead to customer satisfaction. So it's a nice feature to have. It's a separating feature of our product, but as we'll talk about in use cases and where this fits in the market, we need to consider our end users and making sure that we provide the appropriate solution for them. No door controllers are needed. That structure that we showed, software communicating to portal gateway, communicating to lock set. Those are the only devices that you're going to need in order to bring these devices online and have them communicate to the C.CURE software. We do offer them standard with 4 AA batteries and 8 AA battery expansion packs as an option. Battery life is dependent upon the usage and the beacon rate. Out of the box, our locks wake up every minute in order to check and see if there is new information for it. At that beacon rate of once a minute, and on standard usages, about 50 uses a day, or 30,000 uses in a year, you're going to get out of 4 AA batteries roughly 14 to 16 months of battery life. So really quick communication between the lock and the software at that 1 minute beacon rate, giving us a really substantial battery life, improving the security and convenience for our customers. We offer them in the various different hardware configurations and reader technologies to meet the needs of the customers. They are upgradable units, so a customer that starts today with a MagStrike reader can migrate into an I-class reader if they needed to, while maintaining the investment that they've put into the mechanical platform around it, by only swapping out the reader in order to make that migration. We offer them in the hardware platforms, mortise, cylindrical, exit device, and that wireless access controller that we had talked about, so that we can adapt to any hardware technology that a customer might be looking at in their facility. So again, those top and key features for it, I'm really keen on the fact that all the decisions are made at the door and maintaining that security at the point of control. As we get and look at the software, that's different than the way iStar's handled some of their activities. So we'll take a look in the software and show how those configurations are done, just so that you can get an overview of it. We have all the standard monitoring devices built into the readers so that you can monitor the door status or position, whether it's open or closed. There's request to exits built into all of our products. Into our mortise product line, we also monitor the status of the latch, so that whenever it's reporting back into the software that the door is closed, you'll also know it's secure because that latch is extended into the door. If for some reason the door doesn't close all the way, or somebody puts a piece of duct tape over that latch, that monitoring of that mortise lock will allow for that notification to be sent into the software so that that door may be closed, but it's not actually secure. And we do have, again, that triple redundancy of storage. So that 2400 audit trail inside the lock set. There's also a backup of information in the portal gateway, and then you have your host or your software application where the information is stored as well. So if any of those three are down for any period of time, when they come back online, they synchronize with each other in order to make sure that all the activity in your system, all configurations get updated in order to maintain operation and accountability in the system. And we do monitor completely through the C.CURE application. There's only one aspect of our product that cannot be done through the C.CURE 9000 application, and that's a configuration of an IP address into a portal gateway. Much like the iStar configuration utility to assign IP addresses to iStars, there's a utility to assign IP addresses to portal gateways. So allowing for complete control, a single user interface for our end users to be able to utilize a single software platform. Structurally, the wireless brings a new market to you for your end users where it was cost prohibitive to put iStars in on interior doors previously and improve the reader density or truly move to that keyless environment that a lot of end users want to move to. That may have been cost prohibitive to them previously, but now with a wireless offering, that cost comes down, allowing them to expand their access control system. So the structure of the integration needed to be done in such a way to be able to sustain large access control systems with lots of readers. So in your base entry system, a single C.CURE server is fine to run the system. You can load the Wi-Q application onto your existing C.CURE 9000 server and communicate out through the network to portal gateways and lock sets. The recommended thresholds that we have currently around our integration would be for a single server, single solution. We would recommend 200 portal gateways and 2,000 lock sets be part of that, falling in line with the computer recommendations for the various different levels of the C.CURE 9000 software. We do have what's called a Wi-Q router service as part of our system, so that as a customer has more density, as they expand past that 2,000 reader mark, you can install the Wi-Q router service, which is a communication engine, and put it onto a separate computer so that you can balance the load that is seen at a computer and be able to maintain the functionality of the system and the performance that end users expect. So systems can grow at scale to be able to support the environment that customers want to. We think of a university customer, for instance. As universities adapt the wireless product into their housing, they put a wireless lock onto every single one of their residence hall doors. That's thousands of doors at a university. So this allows us to scale that out and maintain the functionality and usability of the software and the performance that customers expect to get out of it. The overview, we wanted the software, and we're going to look at the actual software here in a little bit. We wanted it to have the same look, feel as an iStar door inside of the C.CURE platform. So we followed the same concept of the controller, the door, and the reader, so that the technicians, the end users, if they're familiar with going to one place to find something for a door that is an iStar door, they'll know how to get to it also for a Wi-Q or a Stanley Wireless door. So you'll see that a little bit more here as we get into the application. The screenshots follow the same structure, the same look, the same feel, the same tab format as iStar doors, again, in order to improve that user's interaction with the product and the software, so that it's something that they are familiar with and can easily adapt to. One of the key aspects of our product line and the integration into the C.CURE platform is that the licensing of the readers is separate from hardwired reader license counts. So when you purchase the product through Software House, that reader license is included in the price of the lock, and a file will be sent to your technicians in order to be implemented in the software in order to allow it to be configured. If you purchase the locks from outside the channel, I don't recommend doing that, but if you were to, there is a part number in order to get that licensed inside the software. But again, it is licensed separately from hardwired reader license counts. There are thresholds for the various different levels or series of the C.CURE software, and you can work with your Software House ASM, area sales manager, in order to work through that information. The look, feel, personnel, schedules, clearances, activity, all of those flow into the same place that a customer would be used to using them. I add a card holder and I assign their clearance to them just like I would to an iStar door in order to, again, maintain that, that seamless integration that a customer would be expecting from an access control platform under a single head end. There are some things about our product that are different from the C.CURE application, and we'll look at a couple of those and how they're implemented, but key in on this, holidays are one of the exceptions. We do not support the differing schedules for holiday periods, or recurring holidays are not supported in our product. As we talk about use cases and where it fits in the market, the concept behind our development was that these products are typically going to be behind a hardwired door, where a customer will be able to utilize fully those holiday schedules, allowing for those different schedules. So someone would have to pass through a hardwired door in order to get to this, to a Wi-Q door. So that control was felt that it was good to have at the hardwired door and then wasn't necessarily needed at the Wi-Q door. So with that, I'm going to actually switch over into the software so that you can see the application. So here we have the C.CURE 9000 application, and we have it structured showing the Wi-Q integration to it. So one of those key things that we mentioned, again, was that the reader licenses do not count against the hardwired reader license count. So when purchasing the locks from Software House, the reader license is included with it, and a file will be sent to the technician to import into the application. And it is available through all the training and certification classes, so the technicians can be introduced to it and understand how to do this correctly. So as you can see here, when I imported it, I have one controller out of 1,024 for my system. I have 1,023 controllers still available for me. I apologize for the pause here. Alex, I just want to make sure I'm interpreting what I'm seeing here right. The audience view, can you see my screen and what I'm showing, Alex, just so that I can make sure that I'm right here?
One controller out of 1,000.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, so that's the reader licensing. As we had talked about, another concept to the Wi-Q system is segments. This allows for you to partition down a system. If you think of a multi-tenant facility, a customer may want their tenants only to be able to control the devices in their segment, their particular unit. Segmenting allows for you to restrict portal gateways and lock sets to only communicate to a specific portal gateway and lock set, and allows for that concept to happen very easily and transparent to the actual end users of the product, and it's all structured through the software. The Wi-Q router, as we talked about, is that communication engine. So that device or that software that sits on the C.CURE server, or could be on multiple different servers all communicating into the C.CURE application to balance that load of communication. This Wi-Q router, again, allows for facilitating and structuring the deployment in a way that makes the most sense in order to balance the load for communication for the customer. Follows the same structure as all the other C.CURE screens in order to be able to implement it pretty easily. The portal gateway is the device that connects to the network that talks to the software and then to the lock set. The general tab gives you basic information about it, the IP address assigned into it, the firmware, the channels that are assigned to it. As I mentioned, that 802.15.4 communication protocol. Right down here at the bottom is where we are able to select the channels that we wanted to communicate in. Channels 11 through 24 are shared with Wi-Fi, so your computer networks and other devices in the 2.4 gigahertz spectrum. Channel 25 and 26 are above that communication, and typically in a customer's facility are clear, allowing for that reliable communication between the locks and the portal gateway. But again, any of these channels can be selected. Journaling of the activity. How often do we want statistics from our portal gateway to be recorded into the journal, if we want them to be recorded in there at all? Things like packet ratios, statistics around signal strength, and so forth. This is the information that gets journaled around the product line if you would desire it to be so. Triggers, again, these are your event to actions. This happens with my device. I want that to happen in my system based upon that information. So the various different activities that you can do there. It applies primarily down in the door and reader area, because a door forced open, I want XYZ to happen. Status of my devices, my portal is offline currently because the version of Windows I'm using doesn't allow for hardwired Ethernet connections and Wi-Fi connections to be running at the same time. So for me to join you through Wi-Fi, I figured that was the key for our discussion today. But this is a nice status to show you how many controllers are associated to this portal, so that you can say, I've got that one door that's right near portal XYZ. Do I have enough space to be able to add it, or will I need another one? Again, portals support up to 64 readers communicating to them. Next level down would be the actual controller that sits on the door. So its unique identifier, its model number, firmware, the channels that it's assigned to communicate in, all that's in the general summary tab. The channels that we wanted to communicate in, these correspond to the portal gateway. So if I set my portal gateway to only communicate at channel 11, and I set my lock to only communicate in channels 25 and 26, the two aren't going to communicate to each other. So there's a synchronization that has to happen there from a configuration standpoint. Beacon time, as we mentioned, out of the box, it communicates every 60 seconds in order to get new information if no activity is happening at the door. So every 60 seconds, the lock wakes up. In my illustration here, it's every 20 seconds the lock wakes up, simply because I'm a salesperson, and being in front of customers and waiting that full minute while everybody is sitting there staring at you can be painful. So for demonstration purposes, I have it set at 20 seconds. In a real world environment, when a person gets issued a card and then has to go walk to a door, 60 seconds is really not a very long period of time. And then offline beacon count. So my lock wakes up, tries to communicate to a portal gateway. How many times do I want it to try before I register it as offline? So my portal gateway tries to talk to my lock set. How many times before it registers that it's offline. In my case, I have it set for 15, which translates based upon time. After 5 minutes, I register that door as being offline. We understand that journaling and transactions coming into a system can definitely burden an application. So under journaling, we have the ability to configure all the different events that come in from the lock sets, prioritize them, meaning that as this event happens, I want my lock to wake up and send the event off. Or can I just queue that information in the lock set so that the next time that it is it beacons in, it can send that information all in at once. So for instance, granted access or entry may not be a priority because it's something that's supposed to be happening at the door. Yes, Dan Stewart was allowed to go through that door. He used his card at 3 p.m. I can wait until 3:01 for that information to come into the system, depending on a customer's needs and user's needs, whether or not that's an applicable situation. Something more likely would be forced entry as that door is kicked open, or if somebody were to pry a door open, I want to know right away. So forced entry becomes a priority transaction. As it happens, the radio wakes up and transmits the information in. Triggers, again, these are if the door is forced open, what do I want the system to do? Turn on the siren, release the hounds, and so forth. So that's all the same as the standard C.CURE system. The status tab gives us our last reported statistics for the door. So you're able to monitor the battery levels. You're able to monitor the signal strength, how many people are assigned to that lock. It's under current credential count, so that you can get a feel and understanding of where your system stands and how it's functioning, so that you know if you need to go change batteries, or if something has changed in my wireless environment and I need to reconsider moving my antenna in order to be able to maximize my communication. All of this, again, done from the single C.CURE interface. Under the door, we've got the timings for the door. So unlock time, present my card, how long does the door unlock on that granted access situation? How long do I want to delay it for people with special needs? Those different devices or those different timing situations get set here. One of the things I want to bring up under here is a little different than the base C.CURE application is all the different reader modes, or excuse me, authentication modes that we support for the product line. So they're listed and ranked. The top level, highest number is the most secure, down to the bottom level, lowest number of least secure. So unlock is just that. Anybody can come up, turn the handle, and walk through the door. A couple things that are unique to us, that toggle aspect, think of a light switch. So user comes up, presents their card, that unlocks the door, and the door stays unlocked until the next granted access. So good for maybe an office type environment where a person comes in the morning, presents their card, the door now stays unlocked until they go out for lunch, present their card again. Now that door is locked, they come back, unlock their door when they get back, and then lock it when they go back home for the evening. We support card ID required and credential required. Those are your standard granted accesses that you're familiar with. Card and PIN, again, familiar with that. Lockout means nobody is allowed through the door with a card. That's your lockdown type scenario where I want to keep everybody out of the door. I glazed over it, and I apologize for doing that, but the unlock with credential, that is, think of a school system at K through 12, where we don't want, where we're subject to a snow delay or something like that in the various parts of the country where snow delays can happen, or 2-hour delays. My door is scheduled to unlock at 8 a.m., but I don't want it to unlock until a valid person is actually in the building. Unlock with credential allows you to do that. So I put the schedule of 8 to 5 p.m. associated to my door, set it to unlock with credential so that 8 a.m. comes. If nobody has gone into the building yet, that door stays secure until the first person enters. So something, again, a little unique about our product. Groups, that concept of associating different devices into different groups inside the C.CURE application all apply to our platform. The triggers, again, this happens in my system. What do I want the door to, or what actions do I want to take? So showing a quick little illustration of a door gets forced open. I want it to activate an event. And then I pick the event that I want it to go activate, and then all of that can happen as those events come into the software. And the status of my controller and so forth. And then the reader is the last item in here. Things that we can do here, associate card formats. The card formats that you've set up inside the C.CURE system or the customer is used to using. These are the card formats that get associated to the reader. I believe you can associate up to 6 different card formats to a reader, so that as a customer migrates cards or utilizes different facility codes and things like that, you're able to get those associated to the reader so that those cards can work as well. So that's a general overview. I did mention one thing about that is different for our product line, and that is the door mode. In iStar doors, those are event to action. So at this time, I want this door to do this, and that decision is made by the panel. And that's great for a hardwired door. For a wireless door, that has its own inherent challenges. So Wi-Q door mode allows us to associate a time to a door so that it can follow that schedule. I apologize, I can't type and talk at the same time. So we click Add, allows us to come in and select the door that we want it to apply to. Again, in your system, your Wi-Q doors will be listed here. The schedule that we want to associate to it, built in the same area, or coming from the schedules that you've built in the schedule area. What do we want it to switch to at the beginning of that time frame? So I want it to be unlocked with credential, so that at 8 a.m. after the first person comes through, it unlocks until 1800 or 6 p.m. Save and close, downloads that information into the lock set so that those decisions happen at the door. And if there's any questions about that, feel free to throw them into the chat and question window. So back to our presentation, use cases. Where does this product fit into the market? We at Stanley Products view it as a complementing solution to hardwired access control. We do not feel that it takes the place of hardwired access control, because customers will definitely still have that need. They have that place where I need immediate lockdown. I need to have instant control of my doors. I need to see the instant something happens. So in our little K-12 environment here, we've got our hardwired access control, and it's going around the perimeter of our building where I need that immediate lockdown. I need that immediate control. I need that immediate notification. But complementing to that now, where everybody used to have a key on the inside of the building, or I wasn't able to control the doors in order to be able to issue out those lockdown commands. Now I have a complementing solution that I can put behind these hardwired access controls. I can increase the reader density for my customer and allow them to get to that keyless environment that they want to, so that, yes, they have a little bit more of an upfront cost, but their return on investment happens pretty quickly, because now they don't have the concerns over losing keys, losing grandmasters, and so forth, and the associated risk that comes along with that. So we talked about education, K through 12. Higher education is a key market for the product line. Residence rooms is a hot topic for a lot of higher education customers now. They want to have that control, get rid of keys for their students, and get them to using that one card solution that they all have. So you get a lot of density with this product line in the university market. In student room access, classrooms, maintenance closets, study rooms, wherever a customer wants to get away from keys and put in a card access solution. Healthcare. I'm sure all of us, or the majority of us, have been to a hospital at one point in our life, and we've walked down the hall and we've seen that push-button lock with the 4 different numbers on it, and you may have had an experience like me where you see the code written on the door frame beside it, or the keys are so worn it's pretty easy to determine what the code is associated to it. Pop those locks off, pop in a Wi-Q lock with a portal gateway, and now I have control where people are using their cards. I have an audit of who went in that door and when, and being able to control their access there. My wife's a nurse, and it blows my mind every time she tells me, but they put restriction on the soiled linen area in the hospitals. So they want to know who was in there and when. This is a great solution for that. Why they want to protect the dirty laundry, I'm not quite sure, but they do restrict the access to it. Government flows well into dormant access. So in government, again, they're housing facilities. The product is built on a grade 1 platform, grade 1 mechanical platform, meaning that it is a robust, proven hardware that can adapt to the harshest of environments, which, if you're familiar with the university market or the government housing, can be a very harsh environment. Retail, money room access, storage access allows you to put into your perimeter your hardwired doors and then give you that extra population and control inside the building in order to hit those doors, where in the retail market, money is always tight and they want to do things as cost effectively as possible. So with the latest release of the product guide from Software House, we do have the listing of the product inside of the catalog. So it's available there for you to take a look at and to get the pricing around it. Right here we have the average MSRPs around the different platforms. So the integration cost, the C.CURE 9000 STANLEY Wi-Q integration cost is an MSRP of $2,000, a one-time purchase in order to enable the functionality in your system. The lock sets price is determined by the hardware platform and the reader technology that gets associated to it. So MSRPs average in their range from $1,600 in the cylindrical platform up to $2,100 in an exit device platform. Varying different amounts of metal dictate the varying different levels of cost. And again, that key, the readers are separate from the hardwired reader license count, and when you purchase the readers from Software House, it includes the necessary licensing for it. The caveat down there at the bottom, again, refer to your Software House product guide for the final pricing and MSRPs. Support available to you throughout the country in order to help with the product. So you've got your Software House area sales manager support. They're familiar with the product line. We're engaged with them on a very regular basis in order to help drive opportunities in the marketplace for the solution. And they're aware of the resources that are available to help with presentation, system design, and so forth. So reach out to your area sales manager, and they'll be able to help facilitate anything that you might need. There's a quick little comparison between some of the other products that are on the in the marketplace today and how the Stanley product relates to it. Again, the key things that I key in on our product, intelligence at the door, makes every decision right there at the point of control in order to maintain that security where it needs to be. It communicates every 60 seconds out of the box so that I can get that quick control of my system, quick updates out to my lock sets in order to be able to make changes or to facilitate unlocks or lockdowns of my facility. And the structure of our integration where the software talks to the portal gateway, talks to the lock set. That's all that's needed from a hardware standpoint. Okay. So that brings us to the question section. Alex, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to see those or if you've got them listed there, but I'd be happy to take any questions at this point.
Yep, I've got them here on my end, and we did have one question that came in from Tim. What is the minimum number of locks that would require the Wi-Q router server?
Okay, the Wi-Q router server, the current limitations around it is 200 portal gateways, 2,000 locks per Wi-Q router server. So in the C.CURE system, you can load everything up onto a single machine, database, C.CURE server, Wi-Q interface, support your hardwired doors, and up to 2,000 Wi-Q readers in that environment. When you expand past that 2,000, we recommend moving into a second Wi-Q router. Hopefully that answers you, Tim. If not, feel free to reach out to the team and we can get you more information. Alex, Cheryl, just to make sure if people have questions afterwards, is there an avenue in order to be able to submit them?
Yeah. You can either email me, it's cshay@tycoint.com, or Alex.
At Alex Polley, P-O-L-L-E-Y, @tycoint.com. And we'll get your questions to the proper person.
Awesome. And I'm sure they can reach out to their ASM also if they have a challenge. All right. Well, if no other questions have come in, again, I really appreciate everybody's time today in order to come and learn about the product. I know that your time is very valuable, and I do appreciate you spending it for the 50 minutes today to talk about the Stanley Wireless product. Definitely feel that there's opportunity for it to benefit the end users and help you improve the security and increase the security for our end users. So thank you very much for your time, and appreciate your participation today.